What's up, everyone? This is your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. How is everyone doing today? Doing well myself. Running a little behind. That's nothing new, right? So we're gonna do day 12 of Trump's trial. That's all it's gonna be. Real easy. A day. All right. I do have a video that's gonna drop later today. But sorry. So be on the lookout for that. But that's about it. Let's see. Yeah. Let's do some housekeeping. Just some really quick stuff. Going to follow me on X on at official W Ghosts. It's what's the best way to find out when I go live, and also watch me live. Rumble.com/with ghosts. That is the main channel is Rumble. YouTube.com/at with ghosts is Twitch or YouTube, sorry, and then Twitch.tv/official with ghost is obviously Twitch. My gaming channels, rumble.com/gaming with ghosts and youtube.com/at official gaming with ghosts. I've been playing Helldivers 2 a lot. I may or may not be playing tonight. Haven't decided yet. But yeah, so there we are. So let's get to it. Like I said, we're gonna cover day 12 of Trump's trial. So let's go see how that is going. Okay. That's all I got. All right, cool. Hit this. There we go. All right, court is in session. Judge is back on the bench. Court is in session. Good morning, Mr. Trump, Merchant says. Judge has found Trump in contempt of violating the gag order again. Going forward, this court, I find you in criminal contempt for the 10th time. The judge says, going forward, this court will have to consider a jail sanction. Merchant says, noting the $1,000 fine is not stopping him. It's a bad idea. The judge tells Trump incarceration is truly a last resort. Mr. Trump, it's important you understand the last thing I want to do is put you in jail. You are the former president of the United States and possibly the next president as well, Judge Merchant says. Trump was looking at Merchant while he was speaking. The magnitude of this decision is not lost on me, but at the end of the day, I have a job to do, Merchant says. So, as much as I don't want to impose a jail sanction, I want you to understand that I will, if necessary and appropriate. But at the end of the day, I have a job to do, and part of that job is to protect the dignity of this judicial system. Your continued willful violation of this court's lawful order constitutes a direct attack on the rule of law, Merchant says. That's a very bad idea, Judge. If you want to guarantee Trump's election, it's a very bad idea. It'd be one thing, if he was, assaulting people or some shit like that or whatever, directly threatening people. But violating a gag order, you want to jail him for that? That's a very poor idea. You're just going to rally his supporters right behind him. And, the gag order is bullshit anyways. You can't talk about the potential witness. Look, unless, I agree with anything about the jury shouldn't be talked about at all. But everyone else should be free game. And this whole, I don't want you, dude, deal with it. You're public figures. You're allowed to be talked about. Sorry. Or you should be allowed to be talked about. So we'll see what Trump does. He may start complying with the gag order. But he might violate it again. That'd be kind of funny. You see a former president go to jail. You'll see his poll numbers skyrocket. It's not like, he did something. He was he's jailed for hush money or election. No, he's jailed for speaking out. And that would be the headline. And that would be what his people would be saying. And so, it wouldn't go very well. It would almost... It'd really rally his supporters. There'd be a lot of people that would support him and be right behind him. So it'd be a poor idea to throw the Trump in jail. Just saying. Attorneys are now discussing exhibits to be brought in with the next witness, who is expected to be Jeff McConney, the former controller of the Trump Organization. Also, it's going to be a big headache to throw a former president in jail. You're going to have Secret Service or figure that out. Like, it's going to be a really big headache. Bo says he just found out yesterday that McConney is the next witness prosecutors will call. That's complete bullshit. Prosecutors have called former Trump Organization controller Jeffrey McConney to the stand. McConney has avoided looking at Trump as he takes a stand. He let out a long sigh as he took his seat in the witness box. Let's see. McConney previously testified in the same witness box before Judge Merchant. Excuse me. During the Trump Organization tax fraud trial in 2022. He also testified in the fall at Trump's civil fraud trial. No. I'm sorry. The civil fraud trial. McConney says he began working for the Trump Organization in 1987 and retired in 23 of February. McConney confirmed he is here under subpoena and the Trump Organization is paying for his attorney. Trump's body, I don't care. Are you still working for the Trump Organization? Colangelo asked. I'm retired happily. McConney said. McConney is testifying that Trump himself ran the Trump Organization. He ran the organization. He was the brains behind it, it says. McConney says he's not had any conversation with Trump since he retired last February. Sorry about that. Colangelo is now asking McConney about Trump Organization document showing the ownership structure of the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust. McConney testified that most assets are held in their own entity, but ultimately all entities and assets are owned by the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust, of which Trump is a beneficiary. Donald Trump Jr. and Trump Org CFO Allen Weisselberg were the trustees of the trust. When the trust was created, McConney said they didn't use it in 2014, 2015. I'm not a lawyer. That's my guess. That it was set up in April 2014. McConney, yeah, says he became controller when Allen Weisselberg was promoted to CFO. Weisselberg was McConney's boss from the day I was hired to the day he left. That was more than 3 decades, McConney confirmed. Weisselberg and McConney had lunch together every day, McConney says. All right, hold on. Let's see. Judge ruling on Monday found Trump violated the gag order, specifically in relations to comments he made about the makeup of the jury. Let's see. Defendant violated the order by making public statements about the jury and how it was selected. In doing so, defendant not only called into question the integrity and for the legitimacy of these proceedings, but again raised the specter of fear for the safety of the jurors and of their loved ones. Really? His comment was in New York City that they were 95% Democrat. Really? That comment is so terrible, apparently. Okay, so let's see. The judge ruled that 3 other comments did not violate the order. So it was only the comments about the jury, which was fairly vague and really not terrible. 95% are Democrats. This is New York City, a blue state. Yeah, that's probably freaking obvious. but okay. McConney testified that he oversaw Deb Tarasoft, the accounts payable supervisor, in the account department. Tarasoft, who testified in the Trump Organization tax fraud case, is also expected to testify in this. McConney says he also oversaw the accounting department. When asked, he says he technically oversaw the approval of the company expenses, but they were handled by the accounts payable personnel. McConney is explaining how Trump Organization General Ledger process worked. McConney said the accounts department also maintained the general ledger for Trump's personal accounts. The code was DJT, he said. Also maintained the books and records for Trump's bank accounts. In the 2017 period, did Mr. Trump use a Capital One checking account as his main operating account? Colangelo asks. I believe so, yes, McConney says, or replies. McConney testified that he hand-delivered Trump's weekly cash report to him. The accounting department ran reports on Trump's cash position weekly, McConney says. I'd hand-deliver the report to him once a week, he says. Colangelo is now walking McConney through who had the authority to approve invoices and cut checks at the Trump Organization. Before 2017, Donald Trump had signature authority to cut checks. After Trump was inaugurated, Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and Weisselberg had signature authority for checks on the trust account. After 2017, anything over $10K had to be signed by two of the signatories. McConney says he once walked into Trump's office, and Trump, who was on the phone, told McConney he was fired. After he got off the phone, Trump told him he was not actually fired, but warned him to negotiate his bills. He got off the phone call and said, "You're not fired, but my cash balance went down from last week. Negotiate my bills. Look at my bills." McConney recalls Trump telling him, "It was a teaching moment. Just because somebody is asking for money, negotiate with them. Talk to them." Trump smiled at McConney as McConney told the story and laughed so that his shoulders shook when McConney testified, "Jeff, you're fired." That's hilarious. Colangelo asked whether an employee received a reimbursement. Whether an employee receiving a reimbursement has to report the money as taxable income. McConney says they do not. Colangelo then asked if an outside lawyer received a payment for legal service, would that have to be reported as taxable income? I would assume so, yes, McConney says. Colangelo is walking McConney through a host of exhibits, including business records and emails. Colangelo offers the exhibit into evidence, and Bove objects to several of them. Colangelo is asking McConney about Cohen. Are you familiar with someone named Michael Cohen? Colangelo asks. Colangelo follows up and asks what position Cohen had at Trump's org. He said he was a lawyer, McConney says. Did he work in the legal department? Colangelo asks. McConney paused and shrugged. I guess so, he says, drawing laughs from the court. McConney says he overlapped with Cohen for Cohen's entire employment at the Trump Organization. The last day he was paid was January 27, 2017. McConney recalled. He said he had conversations with Cohen by the coffee machine over the years. Colangelo is asking about a conversation McConney had with Weisselberg. Al said we have to get some money to Michael, reimburse Michael, McConney testified. I started taking notes on what Allen said. Cohen was complaining about his bonus, so that was factored in at the time. McConney says on the stand, we added everything up and came up with the amount we would have to pay him. Court is now reviewing an exhibit that Weiselberger's writing. He was Did Weiselberg sometimes take an acute note to record financial decisions? Prosecutors ask. Yes, McConney said. How do you know it's his handwriting? Colangelo asked. I've been looking at his handwriting for 35 years, McConney said. I kept it in a payroll book I kept in a locked drawer in my office, McConney said. Jurors are being shown the bank statements with Weiselberg, with Weiselberg writing as well as documents with the notes he took. It's a First Republican bank account transfer for Essential Consultant LLC. Statement lists the $130K wire transfer to the Davidson Trust made in 2016. The statement shows the $130K wire to Kenneth M. Davidson Associates. Let's see. Jury's now being shown the notes McConney took on the conversation about Cohen's payments on the Trump Organization notepad. Trump looked forward at the screen in front of him to look at the note. This was during the first meeting when we realized we owe Michael money, McConney says. McConney? I think it's McConney. The top starts with Michael Cohen payment for January 20, 2017. The 20th was crossed out and replaced with 27th, McConney says, explaining the notes in the exhibit. The bank statements show the calculation of $100K grossed up with an additional $60K bonus added together and divided in 12 months. Pardon me. It's in Weiselberg's handwriting. The total amount Weiselberg wrote on the document was $420K. The $180 grossed up to $360, along with a $60K bonus. Here's more on what's included in that total. $50K to Red Finch. The total includes the $50K owed to Conan for Red Finch line item that is for tech services. McConney testified. $130K reimbursement. The $180 total is to reimburse Conan for the $130K sent to Davidson and the $50K. $60K bonus. The $60K bonus to Conan was what Allen told me. Connie says Michael was complaining that his previous bonus wasn't large enough, and so this was to make up for what he thought he was owed, he says. Coney said the $35K was to be wired to Michael Cohen's monthly beginning February 1st, 2017. The wire was to be sent from Trump's personal account, McConney testified. McConney explained the corresponding handwritten note says wired monthly from DJT. McConney notes include wired from DJT, which McConney confirms meant it would be sent out of the former president's personal account. Notes indicate that Conan would need to send an invoice to get paid. If Michael wanted to get paid, he needed to send us an invoice, Coney testified. Oh, that's interesting. Kind of helps with their... McConney said it was typical practice for employees to submit an invoice for an expense reimbursement. The witness is now being shown a letter he sent to Conan in February 2017, reminding Trump's then personal attorney to send an invoice. The email read subject money. Mike, just a reminder, get me the invoices you spoke to Allen about. Oh, thanks, Jeff. Trump's attorney objected to the document. Let's see, Jack. They're at the bench. Jack's objection is noted and has been overruled. Judge is accepting exhibits into evidence. Colangelo is now walking McConney through a series of emails, including Conan telling Coney, "Thank you for the reminder to send invoices." McConan responded asking for an invoice so they could send him a check. Conan then asked for a reminder of the amount. McConey responded with $35K, and Conan sent in the body of email with an invoice dated February 14, 2017. McConey says this was sufficient as an invoice as long as it got approved. Yes, McConey says. Let's see. In February 14, 2017, the email that's being shown. Conan writes, "Dear Alan, pursuant to the retainer agreement, kindly remit payment." McConey testified that he never saw a retainer agreement. He says he emailed Alan asking him to approve the invoice. Okay, to pay as per agreement with Don and Eric Weiselberg, wrote back to McConey. Colangelo is asking Jeff McConey if he sent an invoice to the legal department following Weiselberg's email saying it was okay to pay Conan's invoice. McConey says he did not. McConey says he sent an email to Deb Tarsoff, the accounts payable supervisor in the accounting department, a few minutes later. McConey says he forwarded the email chain to Tarsoff and instructed her, please pay from the trust, post to legal expense, put retainer for months, January and February 2017 in the description. Jury has now shown Conan invoices from March 2017. After submitting and getting approval on these invoices requests for payment, did Mr. Conan submit other invoices? Colangelo asks, yes, McConey says, adding that he submitted an invoice every month in 2017. The prosecutor continues to walk through the invoice to Conan, in 2017, when the payments were made from Trump's personal account rather than the trust. First check from January and February came from Donald J. Trust Revocable Trust. Check from March came from Trump's personal account. An email directly to Weiselberg, Conan wrote on March 16th, 2017. Pursuant to the retainer agreement, kindly remit payments for services rendered for the month of March 2017. March 2017, $35K. Did there come a time when you switch from using trust to using the DJT account to pay for the invoices to Mr. Conan? Colangelo asked, yes. McConey answered, in order to get the signatures required, they had to send the checks down to Washington so Trump could sign them. McConey said, a whole new process for us, McConey testified. Colangelo is walking McConey through the paper trail behind each monthly payment to Conan. Separately, because each payment is tied to a separate count in the charges against Trump. Both objected to these exhibits for each month. Judge says the objection was noted and overruled and admitted into evidence. Juror, not really important. The July invoice from Cohen did not include an amount, but it was known to be $35K. McConey says, pursuant to the retainer agreement, kindly remit payment for services rendered for the month of July 2017. The email from Conan to Weiselberg reads, Colangelo asked McConey if there was an understanding of the amount that needed to be paid, even if it wasn't explicitly in the email. McConey says, yes. What was the understanding? $35K. McConey says, what was the understanding based on? Colangelo asks, it was based on the prior notes he took in Weiselberg's office. McConey says, Coney's voice appears to grow more tired as he repeats himself for each month. $35K, he said with a big sigh when discussing the August payment to Conan. McConey says that he doesn't recall any additional payments made to Conan after December 2017. There's a short break. Back in town. Conan back on stand. All right. Colangelo is walking McConey through a report with spreadsheets of the payments to Conan. Shows Trump's trust and then his personal account paid Conan in 2017. Oh, sorry. The first three payments were paid from the revocable trust for $105K. The final 9 payments were paid by Trump's personal account at a total $315K, according to the report. Jury is now seeing the voucher records detailing the payments cut to Conan by the Trump Organization Accounts Payable Department. Vouchers are business records tied to several of the 34 falsifying business record charges against Trump. The records show several rows and columns organized to record the payments. The first column is the voucher number. When you send invoices, you create a voucher, a number automatically assigned to that invoice, McConey explained. Second column is the comp column, which is the company used to pay the invoice. DJT Rev and DJT, Trump's personal account, are listed. Did this indicate payment was issued? Yes, McConey says. Documents show payments were made between 2017 through and including 2018. What does the handwriting on the top right sum up? Colangelo asked. McConey said it was the total of the first three payments that were paid out of the president's trust for $105K. Prosecutors moved to enter the evidence a document related to Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust. The document detailed general ledger is limited to legal expenses, and it's for the full calendar year of 2018. The ledger does not have a legal expense paid to Michael Cohen in 2018. Judge overruled an objection from Trump's defense team to that exhibit. The document has been entered into evidence. The jury is now seeing the general ledger of the account for 2017. It shows the three payments made of Conan under legal expense. They total $105K for January, February, March 2017. McConey is also looked at the general ledger of Trump's personal account in 2017. It shows the 9 payments made to Conan from April to December 2017. They described as legal expenses and total $315K. McConey confirmed. Each of the general ledger line items listed as a retainer agreement payment to Conan are tied to individual counts of falsifying business records in the indictment against Trump. Colangelo is now asking McConey about 1099 tax form generated by the Trump Organization. Part of his job responsibilities include the preparation of 1099s. McConey is now explaining the 1099s for $420K that was sent to Conan for the year of 2017. McConey said he helped prepare Donald Trump's annual financial statement to the Office of Government Ethics. Trump had to file the financial disclosure report from the time he was a candidate for president, McConey says. McConey said he worked on this form before Trump became president. First time they went through the financial document, Jeffrey McConey says they went through it A to Z. At one point, it was 4 o'clock in the morning filling in these documents, he says. After they split it up, he testified that he handled Molina assets, Trump's stock holdings, banks, and brokerage accounts and liabilities. There's been an objection over the financial disclosure document. Prosecutors moved to enter the OGE 278E form in 2017. Both objected. After the meeting at the bench, documents was accepted as evidence. McConey identified Trump's signature as prosecutors walked through a financial disclosure document. I've seen it many times, he says. The amount listed as a liability to Conan on the form was between $101K to $100,001 to $250K as the form lists amounts in ranges. Witness McConey testified that $130K wired to Davidson and the $50K to Red Finch totaled $180. The full footnote reads, in the interest of transparency, while not required to be disclosed as reportable liabilities on Part 8, in 2016 expense, which incurred by one of Donald Trump's attorneys, Michael Cohen, Mr. Conan sought reimbursement for those expenses, and Mr. Trump fully reimbursed Mr. Conan in 2017. The category value would be $100,001 to $250K, and the interest rate would be 0. Okay. So now Bove has begun the cross-examination. McConey is testifying that he didn't speak to Trump very often. When you did speak to him, you didn't talk about accounting software, Bove asks. No, McConey says. Bove explained that McConey testified to a series of emails involving Conan and asked whether he ever spoke to Conan about any of these issues. Talk to Michael. No, McConey says. Bove showing the emails from Conan in 2017 points out Conan's signature block, which states he is the personal attorney to President Donald J. Trump. Doesn't say fixer, does it? Bove asks McConey. No, McConey confirms. McConey also confirms Conan sent the invoices using a personal Gmail account, not a Trump organization email, meaning he was essentially acting as a vendor to the Trump organization. Bove pointed to the invoice email where Conan asked Weisselberg to call him to discuss an open foundation matter. Bove asked whether that suggested that there was an open matter Conan was handling. Yes, McConey said. McConey says, I do not know when Bove asked if Conan was doing legal work for Trump as a personal attorney around 2017. If he knew Conan did the work for Trump related to Summer Zevros, McConey said, no idea. McConey says the way of doing business with Trump organization had to change drastically once Trump became president. He said that after Trump became president, I don't remember seeing him in New York at all. Judge sustained an objection for prosecutors to this point. Not sure what. Bove asked McConey whether the general ledger for Trump's account was intended to cover his personal expenses. It was like his personal checkbook, McConey says. McConey agreed with Bove when he started it. When he started, it could include costs related to housing or education for Trump's children. McConey testified that at times Trump's cash position was in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Bove asked if in 2017 it was $60 million in unrestricted cash. McConey replied, at least. The account system used by the Trump organization was antiquated by 2017. Trump's attorney Bove says in his line questioning, noting it had been designed in the 1990s. McConey says he agrees, chuckling in the sand as he confirms it was antiquated. McConey also confirmed that the drop-down categories used in the system were rigid and that anytime payments were made to an attorney, the legal expense category was used. So, I mean, probably could show that this wasn't really an attempt to do business fraud. It's actually kind of showing that this is just what we normally do. Is whenever we pay an attorney for whatever reason, we just put it as legal expenses because they're an attorney. It kind of makes sense, and their system is antiquated. It might not allow them to do any thing different. McConey confirmed that Weisselberg, the former CFO, did not say anything about Conan. Say anything about what Conan was seeking reimbursement for in 2017. McConey said grossing up the payment to $180K didn't make sense because an expense reimbursement is not taxable. You do not know, do you, how, if at all, Conan treated these payments on his taxes? Bove asked. No, McConey said. McConey testified that documents were kept in a locked drawer because it was kept in the payroll book, which contains sensitive information, including social security numbers. I had a lot of sensitive information, McConey says, agreeing that most drawers were locked. One of the reasons you want to keep salaries and bonus securities is because you don't want rumors about who's making what, right? Bove asks. Yes, McConey says. Bove confirmed that McConey that the invoices and notes pertain to Michael Cohen reimbursement were not considered particularly sensitive. They were singularly locked in the drawer. They were just included with all of the sensitive payroll documentation. So it's kind of showing that, hey, this wasn't anything special. It was locked in the same drawer as everyone else's payroll information. Bove raised the agreement Weisselberg cited between Trump Jr. and Eric Trump in agreeing to pay Cohen, asking McConey whether he had any idea about what that agreement was in reference to. McConey confirmed he did not. You had no idea what reference to that agreement meant. All you took from the message is that these payments have been approved, right? Bove asked. Yes, McConey said. McConey said it was a mistake to send the check from the trust account and not Donald Trump's personal account. McConey testified that he was told that Trump should be paying from his personal account, and that's why the account was changed from the trust to personal account. McConey agreed to. Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense considering this was Trump's personal attorney, not the Trump organization, not a Trump organization attorney. McConey testified he was told that Trump should be paying. Oh, sorry. McConey agreed that part of the issue was Trump had moved to Washington, D.C., and it was not clear how to get him to sign a check. It was new to the accounting department how to figure out how to deal with Trump now that he was president, he said. Excusing. Bove notes that the 1099 sent to Cohen from 2017 means that the payments were also disclosed to the IRS. These payments were also disclosed to the IRS, correct? Bove asks. Yes, McConey says. There's no place on the form to break out payments for legal services versus expenses incurred, right? And it's Cohen's job to figure out how to account for these payments on his personal taxes, correct? Bove asks. Yes. McConey says. And he did, right? Bove asks. That's correct, McConey says. Cross-exam is over. Redirects just a few questions. Asked if Weisselberg kept it in the dark, McConey answers yes. You were told to do something you didn't, Colangelo asks. Yes, McConey replies. Colangelo follows up, asks whether McConey was privy to any conversation between Trump and Weisselberg about these payments. He said he was not. Colangelo asked if something went over your head. If some things went over your head. And McConey said yes. He agreed he was asked to do things he sometimes didn't know about. It's probably fairly common. Into 34 counts. Back in session. Blanche said they only found out 30 minutes ago who the next witness is. Next witness has yet to be called to the stand. Next witness is Deborah Tarasov. Connery just said. Trump. She's a Trump organization accounts payable employee. Like McConey, she testified in this witness box before Judge Merchant at the Trump org tax fraud trial in 2022 about the inner workings of the company's account department. Trump's lawyers are objecting to canceled checks coming in as exhibits with the next witness. While they were generated by Capital One, they were produced by the Trump organization from their records. Conroy explains of the checks. Judge overrules the objection. Conroy's questioning witness Tarasov about her work as at the Trump organization. She says she's worked there for 24 years. Conroy asked Tarasov, who owns the Trump organization? Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Trump. Tarasov says. Trump smiled at the answer. Tarasov said the accounts department is on the 26th floor with Trump's office and the legal department. Asked about Weisselberg's marriage style, Tarasov says he had his hands in everything. Conroy asked whether Weisselberg interacted often with Trump. To my knowledge, yes, Tarasov says. Conroy is also walking Tarasov through various Trump organization employees and her relationship with them, including Jeffrey McConney, Conan, Michael Conan, and Alan Garten. Tarasov told the court she did not work directly with Trump, but saw him often. She testified she has no decision-making authority. She agrees that she just follows instructions. Tarasov said that during her whole time at the Trump organization, she would get an approved invoice, enter it into the system, cut the check, and get it signed. Tarasov says that after 2015, any invoices for more than $10K had to be approved by Trump or one of his sons. Let's see. Trump is leaning slightly towards Tarasov as she speaks, watching her from time to time. He also watched Connie testimony this morning. Both these witnesses are testifying about Trump's business, and not many of the topics like the hush money payments or alleged affairs, where Trump has largely tuned out during the testimony. Asked who could sign checks for the DJT account in 2016-2017, Tarasov says only Mr. Trump. She adds that it's still true today. Oh, yeah. So Trump's going to get to attend his son's graduation, apparently. Tarasov testified he didn't always sign checks. Sometimes he would write void and send them back. She said, if you didn't want to sign it, you didn't sign it, Tarasov said. Asked how she knew it was him, she said it was signed by a Sharpie, it was black, and that's what he used. Tarasov said that even when Weisselberg would approve him, Trump did not always sign the checks. Tarasov is testifying that when Trump took office, they would send checks he needed to sign to the White House via FedEx. Trump was the only authorized signatory on his personal account through his presidency, she says. Checks were returned, she says. She would pull them apart, mail the checks, and file the backup. Tarasov is being shown the email and invoices that McConney testified to this morning. Please pay from the trust, post to legal expense, put retainer for the months of January and February 2017 in the description. Read February 14, 2017 email McConney sent to Tarasov, yeah. Tarasov is shown another version of the email with an accounts payable stamp on it. Tarasov told her that's her stamp, which says it was paid out of the entity for the revocable trust. Code number on the accounts payable stamp was 51505, the code for legal expenses. The jury is being shown the voucher form that said retainer in the description line. Tarasov said she obtained the information for the voucher from the invoice. The distribution line on the invoice was filled out as legal expense, which Tarasov said she copied from the invoice. Tarasov is now testifying about a check stub for $70K covering the January and February 2017 payments from the trust to Conan. Jury is seeing the first check for $70K to cover the January and February 2017 payment from the trust account to Conan. There are two signatures, Eric Trump and Weisselberg. Let's see. Jurors are also being shown a voided check dated February 14th to Conan from the revocable trust for $70K. The stamp is the check is stamped void, which Deborah explains happens when the check is photocopied, but the check is not void. The two signatures needed on the amounts over $10K is written above the signatures. Tarasov is now walking through each check that she cut that was sent to Conan. This is a similar line of questioning prosecutors took this morning, where they had Jeffrey McConney testify through each monthly invoice. Conan said Tarasov testified that checks dated April 18th, 2017 was lost and voided. In June 2017, it was then reissued, she said. After looking at the May check to Conan, prosecutor Conroy asked Tarasov if she approved every check every month for the rest of the year. If I got an invoice, I approved an invoice. Yes, she says. In July, there wasn't an amount on the invoice for Conan. Deborah Tarasov said she asked to confirm the amount was $35K. Pay same amount per Jeff and Allen is written in pen on the invoice. Jury is then shown a check for August 2017 signed by Trump. Short break. Back on the bench. And continue. Conroy is resuming questioning of witness Tarasov. I think we were walking through those exhibits. I missed one, Conroy said, bringing up the June 2017 invoice from Conan, and implicitly acknowledged the tedious process of going through every piece of paperwork. Caught up to September, the jury is again seeing Tarasov accounts payable stamp on Conan's invoice. Tarasov is reading that the same emails from this morning that Conan sent to former Trump Organization CFO Weisselberg with the 2017 invoices attached. She then testified to each of the vouchers associated with those invoices. She also testified about each of the $35K checks with Trump's signature sent to Conan. Prosecutors have finished up. Now it's Blanche's turn to cross-examine. Tarasov confirms to Blanche that the Trump Organization is a family-run business. She says she worked with Trump's children, Eric, Don Jr., and Ivanka Trump, over the years. Trump is fully turned on 90 degrees in his chair while testifying. While Tarasov is testifying, his arm is over the back of the chair and he's facing towards Tarasov. Blanche is asking Tarasov if Trump was focused on getting ready to be president during the start of 2017. I think so, Tarasov replies. Blanche follows up asking whether the request to pay for invoices happens all the time. Yes, Tarasov says. Blanche is trying to rehabilitate earlier testimony from Tarasov that Trump would sometimes void checks for invoices he didn't want to pay. If he didn't want to sign it, he didn't sign it, she testified earlier. All right. Blanche also noted that Tarasov was not present for conversations between Weisselberg and Trump. When Weisselberg was on some of the emails, or Mr. McConney told you to go ahead and pay it and generate a check, you didn't get permission from Trump himself, correct? Blanche says correct. She clarifies with Blanche that all the checks to Michael Conan shown in court were signed, and she doesn't know what happened with the checks after she mailed them to the White House. But she did receive them back in the mail signed. So, yeah, that kind of is showing, like, there's a possibility that, they're just put in front of Trump. He signed it, wasn't really paying attention because he was busy running the country. That could be what they're saying or trying to imply here. And that's the end of it. The old lady. So that's the end of it. That was the end of testimony. We'll see what happens today. Again, I'm not sure how I'm going to be covering it tomorrow. We will see. I just don't know. Just don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Give me a follow. Various channels. Make sure to watch my video that's dropping later today. I will be I will drop a video of me reacting to some stuff. And I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a good day. Peace out. And I will see you later. Peace.